There are a lot of anime characters that fit the title of the strongest anime character, including Goku, Saitama, and even Gojo. However, all of them have some kind of weaknesses that make them vulnerable, and you can always argue who would come out on top if they go up against each other. In this video, we will create the strongest anime character using attributes from different anime. Without any further ado, let's dive right into it. Let's just discuss our character's race first. Being a human just isn't enough, as humans have limited potential, and they just suck, to be honest. I haven't seen a single human anime character who surpasses the likes of gods or even demons. For this category, we can either go with demons or even gods. However, the race I'll choose for our character is Saiyan. Saiyans are the embodiment of battle-hardened warriors, thriving in combat and constantly pushing their limits. What makes them so overpowered is their ability to grow stronger after every fight. If a Saiyan barely survives a near-fatal encounter, their body adapts, and their power skyrockets to the infamous Zenkai boost. Saiyans are nearly impossible to defeat if the battle prolongs, because they just keep on getting stronger and stronger. Their transformations further cement their status as the ultimate warriors. A single Saiyan, if given enough time and battles, can evolve from being a mere planet buster to a multiversal threat. You can take Goku as an example. That guy used to be a little twig, but now he's one of the strongest beings in the Dragon Ball verse. Their natural combat instincts also means they can pick up and counter techniques almost immediately. Watching an opponent's fighting style just once is often enough for them to develop counters on the spot. But what makes them truly terrifying is their limitless potential. Unlike other races that reach a power cap, Saiyans have no ceiling. No matter how strong they become, they can always break past their limits, achieving heights no one thought possible. This is what makes a Saiyan the perfect foundation for the strongest anime character. Next up, we have to talk about the ability. Our character definitely needs some overpowered ability to defeat his opponents. And what is better than Gojo's Limitless? I know some of y'all will be saying that you should have given him a Devil Fruit, but listen here. Devil Fruit would have made our character vulnerable to water, and that's something we don't want, fellas. On the other hand, Gojo's Limitless is one of the most broken abilities in anime, and when combined with Saiyan physiology, it makes your character technically untouchable. Limitless is based on the concept of dividing infinity, meaning that no matter how fast or powerful an attack is, it will never actually reach the user. It's the ultimate defense. Beyond just defense, Limitless allows for devastating offensive techniques. The ability to manipulate space means your character can crush enemies with blue, an ability that creates an overwhelming gravitational pull, dragging anything toward it. Then there's red, a reversal technique that repels everything with explosive force. But the real game breaker is Hollow Purple, a fusion of attraction and repulsion that erases everything in its path. If an opponent is caught in its range, they don't just take damage, they cease to exist entirely. With Limitless, your character becomes an unstoppable force and an immovable object at the same time. Even if an enemy possesses overwhelming strength, they wouldn't be able to land a hit. And thanks to their Saiyan adaptability, they could refine and perfect the technique to even higher levels, making their control over space itself absolute. Not gonna lie, the character is already looking invincible, but we still have a lot of things to cover. Next up, we have to give him a cool weapon. There are a lot of weapons to choose from, including Dragon Slayer from Berserk, but for our character, we'll be choosing Tessaiga from Inuyasha. It was pretty obvious if you look at it. Tessaiga is a legendary blade forged from a powerful demon's fang, capable of adapting and growing stronger alongside its wielder. In its base form, it can cut through nearly any opponent, but its true power lies in its transformations. The Wind Scar releases waves of destructive energy, capable of wiping out dozens in a single swing. The Backlash wave turns an enemy's attack against them, reflecting their own energy with amplified force. But its most terrifying ability, Meidou Zangetsuha, opens a void to the underworld, sending opponents into nothingness with no chance of escape. When wielded by someone with Saiyan strength and Gojo's Limitless, Tessaiga reaches an entirely new level. The enhanced spatial control could allow its strikes to bypass traditional defenses, slicing through dimensions themselves. With a weapon that erases enemies from existence and a warrior whose strength never stops growing, your character becomes an unstoppable force in any battle. Now that we're done with the weapon, it's about time we discuss the eyes, because they never lie. Okay, that was a bit lame. Anyway, I would like to choose Gojo's 6 eyes, but since we've already chosen an attribute from Jujutsu Kaisen, we cannot choose anything else. The other obvious options we have are Rinnegan from Naruto, Geass from Code Geass, and the Sharingan from Naruto as well. However, the eyes I would like for our character are Almighty from Bleach. The Almighty is one of the most broken abilities in anime, making your character virtually untouchable. This power grants the ability to see every possible future and then alter it at will. No matter what an opponent tries, whether it's a physical attack, a special technique, or even an unavoidable fate, your character can rewrite the outcome so that it never harms them. This means that battles are over before they even begin. If an enemy tries to land a hit, they fail. If they attempt to counter your attacks, they've already lost before they move. The ability isn't just foresight, it's absolute control over destiny itself. Combined with Saiyan adaptability and Gojo's limitless, your character is not only untouchable, but also unstoppable, rewriting any situation to guarantee victory. We've given our character all these overpowered abilities, but one thing he needs is a fighting style. There are a lot of styles to choose from, including Garo's martial adaptation, Adam's divine imitation, and Jin Mori's taekwondo. However, the fighting style we'll go with is Rock Lee's 8 Gates Taijutsu. The 8 Gates unleash unimaginable power, allowing your character to surpass all physical limits at the cost of immense strain. When fully opened, the 8th Gate, Gate of Death, grants you strength that rivals gods, turning every strike into an earth-shattering blow. With Saiyan physiology, the usual drawback of the gates becomes a non-issue, as rapid healing and Zenkai boosts would make them even stronger after each use. In combat, the combination of the 8 gates and their immense raw power makes your character an absolute menace. Once the gates are activated, their speed and strength reach godlike levels, allowing them to overwhelm opponents with relentless attacks. If an enemy somehow survives, the Almighty ensures the battle is already rewritten in their favor. This fighting style isn't just about overwhelming force, it's about absolute domination, through sheer speed, skill, and power. We've given our character all these crazy abilities, but what about their battle IQ? We need a character who can utilize all these abilities, and for that purpose, we will grant him Meruem's battle IQ. With this, your character isn't just a brute force fighter, they're a combat genius who learns and adapts at an inhuman rate. Every fight is a lesson, and within moments of clashing with an opponent, they analyze their techniques, weaknesses, and patterns, adjusting their approach accordingly. This intelligence, paired with their raw power, makes them virtually unstoppable. Unlike a strategist who plans several moves ahead, Meruem's intelligence allows for real-time adaptation. If an enemy tries a new technique, your character instantly understands its mechanics and counters it before it can be effective. Combined with the Almighty, which ensures they already know the best possible outcome, they don't just react to opponents, they completely outclass them. This makes their fighting style a terrifying blend of instinct and intelligence. They attack with the relentless aggression of a Saiyan, the overwhelming force of the 8 gates, and the perfect execution of someone who learns from every strike. Whether in a one-on-one duel or an all-out battlefield, their presence alone guarantees victory. Lastly, let's give our characters a cool outfit. Our character is already pretty overpowered, so we want them to look badass. And what's better than Guts' Berserker armor? The Berserker armor is a perfect fit for our character, turning them into an unstoppable warrior who fights beyond mortal limits. It suppresses pain and forces the body to keep moving, even with shattered bones and fatal injuries. For a Saiyan, this is a terrifying advantage, as their Zenkai boost would allow them to grow stronger with every battle, no matter how much damage they take. The armor's biggest drawback is its effect on the mind, slowly turning the wearer into a battle-driven beast. However, the Almighty ensures they remain in control by foreseeing and countering the armor's worst effects. Meanwhile, Limitless makes them nearly untouchable, and when paired with the 8 gates, their power reaches monstrous levels. With this setup, your character becomes an unkillable force, continuously adapting and overpowering any enemy in their path. One last thing we can do here is give our character a consumable item that they might need. For this, Luffy's Gomu Gomu no Mi is the best option. Our character can just keep the fruit with him and maybe consume it if he deems it necessary. However, I highly doubt he would need it with all these crazy abilities. What do you guys say? That's it, folks. Let me know in the comments if this is the strongest anime character ever, or if there's still room for some improvement. See you next time!